Okay. All right, thank you all for being here this evening. This is the regular meeting of the Terre Haute City Council. It is about 10 after 6, Thursday, June 1st. I want to make a quick announcement before we begin the meeting. Due to a miscommunication with the petitioner's attorney for Special Ordinance 11, which I assume is what a number of people are here for this evening, that item has been requested by the petitioner's attorney to be tabled. So we are going to get to that ordinance this evening. My assumption is it will be tabled at that time due to the fact, again, that there was a miscommunication with the petitioner's attorney and he is not in town this evening. So it is, again, my assumption that that will be tabled until July. You are all, of course, welcome to stay here. We'll be getting to that item fairly quick. It won't be too long. But I just want to make that note because I know a lot of you are here for that. So I just wanted to let you know what had happened with that item. Having said that, we begin each meeting with a moment of silence and the Pledge of Allegiance. And this evening, that will be led by Councilperson Crossan.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Michelle, could we get a roll call, please?
Councilperson Aller. Councilperson Azar. Present. Councilperson Boland.
Present.
Councilperson Crossan.
Present.
Councilperson DeBon.
Here.
Councilperson Elliott.
Here.
Councilperson Garrison.
Here.
Councilperson Loudermilk.
Here.
Councilperson Nation.
Here.
8 are present, 1 is absent.
At this time, we give 30 minutes of time for public comments on items that are not on the agenda. So if you would like to speak on any items that are not on the agenda this evening, now is the time to do so. When you come up to the podium, please state your name and address for the record, and try and keep your comments to 3 minutes or less if you are able to. So this time we will have public comment.
My name is Donald Wayne Hyde. I live at 1411 Poplar Street, Terre Haute, Indiana. This is not on the agenda, and I'm purposely waiting to now to talk about it because it is not on the agenda. But it is also the time of year that you all are going to be thinking about it for the next 3 weeks and 3 months until summer ends. What I'm talking about is shade. Yes, I said shade. Shade is produced by the sun hitting trees, and the trees putting shade down on the ground where the trees are. In my lifetime, I have seen the amount of shade in Terre Haute go down big time. And for 2 reasons. First of all, a lot of people have built up Terre Haute in my lifetime and tore it down. But the big thing they do is they tear down the trees. And they put these little tiny trees in their place. And I mentioned that I was around the discussions and came to council meetings occasionally, even back then, when they talked about, they thought the trees were too tall. And so back in 1980 and 90, they decided to plant shorter trees that wouldn't grow very tall at all. Now, mind you, that we know, and we've known for 100+ years, that the trees, if they're tall enough, help produce the oxygen we all need to live. And they also produce shade we need in the hot summer. Now, global warming, I'll be the first one to agree with everybody. I was not denying that global warming was happening. I can no longer deny that. Global warming is happening. It's going to be around probably for at least the next 60 years. I believe that, first of all, America and the human race as a whole is not as bright as they think they are. I believe that there are great spans of 100 years, 150 years before nature changes. And when it changes, we have no control over that. But in the last 10 years, it's changed. And that's what they're calling global warming. It just means the weather's going to be hotter by a few degrees than it used to be. Problem is, we need shade. The 12 and under need shade, and everybody needs shade. The city council is in charge of one of the greatest park systems there is in Indiana. And I will argue with anybody on that. We have literally one of the best park departments in the city and in the county as anybody in Indiana has, and I saw most of Indiana in all these years. And you know I'm telling the truth too. I don't need to tell you what you already know. The problem is we're not planting the trees where we need to plant them, even in our parks. We need areas where the public can come, sit down and have a picnic meal, or just sit down and rest in the shade. Now, I don't want to tell you this. I'm going to tell you this now because you got told summer to go see if I'm wrong. Go to the parks, and you'll go this summer. Every one of you will, sooner or later, just like I will. Look around for how much shade each park actually has, and where there is part of the park. Of course, you don't want shade everywhere, but you need part of the park. But I believe you're going to find out that most of our parks, there's more sunshine than there is shade.
Mr. Hyde, if you would.
I'm wrapping it up. Because I've already said what I came to say. I want you guys, and I'm not going to I'm going to mention this again in September when the summer is over. And I hope between now and then you will have personally looked for yourself to see if I'm right or wrong and make up your own mind. Thank you.
Thank you. Do we have anybody else who would like to speak during public comment?
Good evening. My name is Tess Brooks Stevens. I reside at 2004 North 21st Street, 47804. I've been keeping up with at a distance because I've been out of town on several of the previous dates. Ironically, for the joint sessions and meetings and the unveiling of the plan for the expenditure of the ARP funds. I have come to this podium several times and request that the components and the program that we put together would be put on the docket so that it could have a discussion amongst you all and receive a vote. And I've been urged to work with the mayoral office, and I've worked with him, and he's just taken the plan and watered it down and put it in other agencies within the city. I'm appalled at his insight or his opinion of how to proceed forward, seeing that 20% of that funding is designated specifically for helping increase economic equity among minorities and particularly people of color. That's 20% of the city's population. So if you took 20% of the combined funds or 10% of or 20% of the funds that you all have the privilege of voting over, that comes to a significant amount of money that could help our community. We've taken the lead on it primarily because the black people in the community are the majority of the minority. But the plan that we put forward was to encompass all people in the community. There isn't one nickel of that money, of that $55 million, that's being directly handed to any primarily ran, owned, and operated black organization in this city, which says a lot. there are services that are being conducted, but there isn't one nickel that's going towards creating economic equity, increasing the amount of equity in healthcare or in education, which were all components of the plan that we took time to construct and have been fighting for 2 years. I know that the interest of those funds are unrestricted. You can do anything you want with the interest. I also realize that the proposed agenda is not set in stone and that there is opportunity to make adjustments so that there can be some accommodations for the requests that we've made. I don't know how you feel about the city. You know, I love Terre Haute. I was born and raised here. I think there's some pretty decent people here. But I also think there's some things that aren't so decent. And at one point in time, we have to make the decision of whether or not you're going to trust black people to have enough sense and intelligence to handle money. Even if it means you have an oversight during the process, there has to be some type of bridge of trust that accommodates creating economic equity. And whether or not you care about how the images are going forward along the road that it's currently traveling, it's going to create an image. And it's going to create an image now, and it'll create an image that's going to last a lifetime. And I would strongly encourage you all that are retaining your seats. I pray blessings over you all who are not retaining your seats and elected not to run another term. But I think that this community deserves better. We deserve better. We've been faithful citizens, taxpayers, and contributors to the economy of this city for generations. And it's time for a change. So I'm just asking that as you review the documentation that the current administration has put forward, that you would strongly consider the things that I'm saying. And I want it to be considered not as a reflection of who you are as a person, because I believe all you guys are good people, but to consider the reflection of how it is as a city and what that city thinks about its citizens, all of its citizens and not some. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anybody else from the public who would like to speak during public comments?
I'm Kevin Southwood. I live in North Terre Haute. I also find it disappointing that with the American Rescue funds that I read in the paper where Mayor Bennett and stuff had basically had spent all that money. And, you know, it's odd to me in a democracy environment that all the money, the taxes that are used come from taxpayers, and the taxpayers are omitted from their ideas or their suggestions on what they want to see, their taxes that they're going to have to pay back in the future, where their tax money is going to go. And yet the politicians, from lack of their own incompetence, have all these great needs that they haven't addressed, that they've left slip down into disrepair and ruin on a lot of stuff. But in order for you to take that money, and then I know you have to reinvest it to make things better, but at the same time, you know, there should be something gave to the taxpayers for the ideas of the taxpayers, that where they want to see that money goes, not where you demand that it goes. You know, that's basically, you're walking away from any ability to help the people, but you're demanding that the people all gets behind you and all of your ideas and beat the drum and blow the horn. Except, you know, I think that the citizens of this town could have done a hell of a lot better, you know, and I really think that, you know, having these funds, this has to be done right now. And I would never spend my money on right now. I would have to carefully think it out on where my limited funds can go and the most effectively that I can get a return on that money. You know, Like if I'm going to invest in my home, I'd have to have new windows and doors put in my home. That's a big return. I have to make sure that I get a return, a payback for my funds. And to allow these funds to go to politicians without any way that the people can submit their ideas for what they want, I find that I find it frightening myself.
Thank you. Is there anybody else from the public who would like to speak at this time? If not, I will go ahead and close public comment, and we will move on to corrections of the journal.
There are none.
Communication from the mayor.
I received none.
Reports from city officials.
I did not receive any.
Reports from Board of Public Works and Safety.
I did not receive any.
Standing committees.
I did not receive any.
Non-standing committees.
I did not receive any.
Items previously tabled.
Just as a reminder, Resolution 7 and Resolution 8, you received correspondence from the petitioner's attorney requesting these be withdrawn. Resolution 7, 2022, a confirming resolution designating an area commonly identified, designating an economic revitalization area and approving a waiver of noncompliance for property located at 1800 South 3rd Street.
We want this withdrawn. Is that what you said? I move to withdraw Resolution 7, 2022.
It has been moved by Councilperson Azar, seconded by Councilperson Boland, that we withdraw Resolution 7, 2022. Those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. It is withdrawn. Next item, please.
Resolution 8, 2022, designating an area commonly identified as 1800 3rd Street as an economic revitalization area for the purpose of a 10-year real property tax abatement, KP Properties, LLC.
Move to withdraw Resolution 8, 2022.
Second.
It has been moved by Councilperson Azar, seconded by Councilperson Boland, that we withdraw Resolution 8, 2022. Those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed? Resolution is withdrawn. Next item, please.
Special Ordinance 11, 2023, rezoning of property located at 4355 East Wabash Avenue. Area Planning had previously submitted a recommendation favorable with conditions.
This item has been requested to be tabled by petitioner's attorney. I will entertain a motion to table and a date that it's tabled to.
Mr. President,
Yes, Councilperson Nation.
I move to table until July 13th, until the second meeting in July.
Second.
It has been moved by Councilperson, due to a conflict as realtor for the sellers on this property, I will be abstaining from a vote, including this vote to table. It has been moved by Councilperson Nation to table this ordinance until July 13th and seconded by Councilperson Garrison. Those in favor of tabling to July 13th, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? And I abstain. That has been tabled to July 13th.
Mr. President,
Councilperson Nation.
if I might just make a quick remark to address the public. We're sorry that you came. We found out here at this meeting that the attorney for the petitioner wasn't going to be here today. We all came prepared to talk about this and vote on it too. The reason that we put it off until the 13th of July is because that's when most of us will be here next. And it's really the next opportunity for us to give this a fair hearing. I apologize to all of you for dragging out on this hot evening to come to the city council meeting to see nothing happen. But we'll see you back in on July 13th. I know many of you have written to me, and I appreciate your input. I encourage you all to continue to pay attention and mark your calendars for July 13th, and we hope you can make it back. I yield.
Thank you, Councilperson. Next item, please.
Appropriation 5, 2023, $1 million from Community Crossings Grant Fund number 04920000 to CCG Paving 0492000003432105. As a reminder, you must vote to take action.
Petitioner.
Mr. President, members of the council, Marcus Meyer, city engineer. I can cover this real quick. We received a grant from NDOT for the community crossings. It was a $2 million project. We received $1 million in matching funds, so we're requesting to move that to paving so that we can continue the project. The project is underway and going well. We're hoping to continue and get it wrapped up.
Thank you, Marcus. Any comments from the public on this item?
Again, Donald Wayne Hyde, 1411 Poplar Street, Terre Haute, Indiana. A simple question. What the heck are you talking about? Could you give more details? As you say the project is on the way, it's going on now, it's going great. Yeah, tell us what great is going on. Could you describe the project? Thank you.
Marcus, would you like to respond to that?
Yes, so it's a grant fund through NDOT where they provide 50% matching funds for construction and reconstructions of roadways. So we have several roadways that we're working on for this. Let's see, I apologize. I literally just got back from vacation. Let me see. So we are repaving Johnson from 3rd Street Place to 4th Street, some of 4th Street, north and south. Locust Street from 25th to Heritage Trail Apartments. Trying to think, there's a section, Wabash Avenue out east, the section that's not been repaved. And there's a lot of small ones in here. I apologize for not having them all right off the top of my head. Walnut Street is the other big one. Walnut Street from 1st Street to 19th.
Thank you, Marcus. Is there anybody else in the public who would like to comment on Appropriation 5, 2023?
I need to repeat my name and stuff again.
Yeah, if you would, please.
My name is Tessa Brooks Stevens, and I'm at 2004 North 21st Street, 47804. Is this project done all by city personnel, or is some of it contracted out, or is it just all city employees that's doing it for us?
Marcus?
Yeah, so this project was bid and advertised through a public bid through the Board of Public Works and Safety. So any company that was willing to bid and capable of doing the work, we selected the lowest responsible bidder. Milestone Construction was the selected contractor.
Thank you. Any other comment from the public? Council?
Mr. President,
Councilperson Crossan?
there's no question or discussion. I move that we vote to take action on Appropriation 5.
Second.
It has been moved by Councilperson Crossan, seconded by Councilperson Garrison, that we take action on Appropriation 5 this evening. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed? All right, we can take action on that item this evening.
Mr. President,
Councilperson Crossan.
no further discussion. I move that we approve Appropriation 5, 2023.
Second.
It has been moved by Councilperson Crossan, seconded by Councilperson Garrison, that we approve Appropriation 5, 2023. Those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed? It passes. Thank you. Next item, please.
Just a reminder on your CF1 forms that you will be reviewing. The vote is in substantial compliance and no additional actions will be taken, or not in substantial compliance. If you vote for not in substantial compliance, a hearing will need to be held within 30 days, which will require a special meeting. INJA Aero Resolution 3, 2013 CF1 form. You should have a copy in front of you. And they filed two. They filed the original and then they filed a revised one. On the original, which was received May 15th, They showed a total of 68 employees, which was 2 less than they originally estimated. Which is significantly higher than they originally estimated of 35.
Mr. President,
Councilperson Garrison.
I move to find NJET Aero RS 3 2013 in compliance.
Second.
It has been moved by Councilperson Garrison, second by Councilperson Boland, that we find NJET Aero RS3 2013 CF1 in substantial compliance. Those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed? All right, it is in compliance.
Mr. President,
Councilperson Nation,
I'd like to make a quick comment here.
please.
Tonight, we've got 20 of these to review by my count. And one thing that happened early in the meeting was the two new ones, not the two, but 2 new ones that were on our agenda were withdrawn, right? If you look at the paperwork for the withdrawn ones, there's a grid that shows the 10-year abatement. And it clearly shows that after year 6, the estimated tax abatement savings for the petitioner is 0. So that's in year 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. By my count, if it only takes 6 years for these to zero out, by my count, 9 of them at least would be, 9 of the 20 that we're reviewing would be zeroed out, and in my opinion, probably not necessary to go through this exercise on. I know that we're legally bound to do this, but what I'm suggesting is that first, as we consider rewriting our rules, which we talk about a couple times a year, it seems like, for tax abatement, I think that one thing that it makes sense to do is have every petitioner include this grid in the paperwork so we can see where the abatement becomes a 0. And in that year, when we review it, I think that we should withdraw, we should take action to make it go away so that the petitioner is no longer bound to do an exercise every year that wastes their time and wastes our time. Now, on that note, I'll turn to Michelle to tell me why I'm wrong.
Oh, okay. I don't think you're wrong. I have a simpler solution. Maybe Cheryl will agree, Councilperson Loudermilk will agree with me. Rather than include that table, because it depended on the year that the abatement was granted on whether the table was included, if I could continue to work with her office, we can confirm the year it was actually enacted, because it depends on how long the project takes to complete before it's actually applied. And there could be 2 years, it could be 3 years.
Some of them are, yeah, I noticed.
And so it's tricky to figure out when the end date is. And maybe next year I could just include that information and the council could make a change in their rules between now and then. If you take no action on CF1 forms, the abatement, if anything is left, continues.
Take no action, the abatement continues. What I'm trying to get to is, what does it take for us to take action that makes the abatement formally go away after the benefit has been reaped by the petitioner?
I would like legal counsel to agree with me, if they will, but you can rescind it without denying a CF1 form. So you can actually have the legal department prepare a resolution rescinding a tax abatement.
Is there a downside that I'm not seeing to keeping a tax abatement on the books that the petitioner no longer reaps a benefit for?
Well, I would, and I'll stick my nose in again, the statutes do not give you authority to rescind it without there being some inaction on the petitioner's part. And
Okay.
if they submit a CF1 form, right now I still don't have my number, but I'm guessing 10 to 12 have not filed yet. So you will be approached in July at your meeting to decide what to do with those. Well, there's your action, but if they do file the form, I'll let Cheryl, Councilperson Loudermilk.
Go ahead.
I guess the only action, Todd, that we could take would be from the very beginning and reduce the amount of years based on that. When it comes in, we could do a different scale.
So if it was a 10-year tax abatement that was proposed that would only have 6 years' worth of benefit for the petitioner, then we would bang it back to a 6-year tax abatement.
Yeah, we could do a different scale. But that would, I think, have to be done at the beginning when we approve the abatement.
Okay. You understand what I'm trying to get to
Oh, yeah,
here, right?
and for your notes, for some of these, I do have what year this is gonna be hitting. I made notes on some of them. I was able to grab a few here at the end of right before I got here.
Okay.
And you're right, some of them are gonna be ending rather quickly.
And it's.
And it's not doing them much good,
And all I'm really trying to get to is saving a bunch of bureaucracy for.
it would save Michelle and myself some time, because we spend a lot of time on the phone with them, because they don't know how to fill them out.
Right, yeah. And I think that if there were a way for us to be able to notify them, in the absence of the front end thing that you suggested, which I think is a great suggestion, if there were a way to notify the ones that are already in the pipeline, hey, the benefit of this has ended.
I guess they could ask to have it rescinded.
Could you ask to rescind it and save yourselves 4 years of paperwork, or whatever? Anyway, I'm just trying to think of ways that we could save you all the work and then save the council reviewing them, and all for a benefit that no longer exists. I'll stop there. I yield. Thanks for entertaining my questions.
I'm trying to remember where we were.
The second.
First one is completed.
Okay, yes.
Second injet.
Okay, I don't believe I've had any motion put on the floor on the second.
No.
Okay.
It needs to be read in first.
Okay, next item, Michelle.
NJET Resolution 10, 2018. We spent all of our time getting your copies ready. Here we go. And mine are a little messy. This one is, if you want to be technical and you could read the really tiny print, they actually have, their numbers do not add up for employees. They actually have more than what their total shows. I believe, I can't tell if that's 28 or 29, but they, on the bottom number, but
28.
they have more than they originally estimated.
Council President.
Yes,
Are
Councilperson
you waiting for a
Garrison.
motion?
I'm sorry?
Are we reading this in first, or has it been read in?
It's been ready.
Okay, so you're ready for a motion?
Yes.
All right, I move based on doubling of the employees and more than doubling of the salaries, I move for approval of Resolution 10, 2018 CF1 form for NJET Aero Terre LLC.
In substantial compliance.
Sorry, in substantial compliance.
Second,
Who was that?
me.
It has been moved by Councilperson Garrison, second by Councilperson Loudermilk, that we find RS 10, 2018 CF1 in substantial compliance. Those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed? It is in compliance. Next item, please.
I always have fun pronouncing this company's name. Betiza?
Fatessa.
Yeah, they have a lot. Resolution 2, 2018, you should have, and if you will look around here, it gives the resolution number right under section 2 in the middle. It will give the resolution number. They definitely have more employees than originally estimated.
Mr. President.
Councilperson Nation.
Michelle, I looked over all four of these. I want to say Fatessa, but there aren't two S's, so it's Fatisa. And I noticed that they seem to use different employee numbers on them. The one that we're on now is Resolution 2, and it lists actual employees as 169. But then the next one, which we passed the same night, back in 2018, lists the number of actual employees as 121. Is there a simple explanation for
Looks like a mistake.
why there's a discrepancy?
Well, our favorite accountant may be able to help, but I believe sometimes when they fill out the personal, they only count the employees that are impacted by that item. But when they count the real, they count every employee in the building.
Okay.
And I've had many discussions with many companies and attorneys on why they do that. Because it makes no sense.
Well, yeah, as someone who's trying to figure this stuff out and be fair and consistent, that's I'm just wondering which numbers I should be looking at. And I guess if we're going, case by case, in this case, yes, there are more employees, there is a higher amount of salaries, so not to get bogged down, I'll make the motion that we find resolution number 2, 2018 for Fatisa, Indiana LLC in substantial compliance.
Second.
It has been moved by Councilperson Nation, seconded by Councilperson Garrison, that we find RS2 2018 CF1 in substantial compliance. Those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? I'm sorry, discussion?
I was just going to say, for your information, this will be going into year 4, resolution 2 and 3.
Say that again, please.
It will be hitting year 4 as of next year.
Year 4, okay, yeah.
Okay, so I'll back up slightly. We have a motion on the table. Councilperson Nation, who seconded that?
Garrison.
Garrison seconded. Those in favor of finding RS2 2018 CF1 in substantial compliance, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? It is in compliance. Next item, please.
The same company, resolution
3.
Thank you. I lost track. 2018. And again, resolution 2 was their real property tax abatement. Resolution 3 is the personal.
Council President,
Councilperson Garrison.
I see the employees are up and the salaries are up, so I move resolution 3, 2018 in substantial compliance. Second.
It has been moved by Councilperson Garrison, seconded by Councilperson Boland, that we find RS3 2018 CF1 in substantial compliance. Those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed? It is in compliance. Next item, please.
Same company, resolution 7, 2021. This is a real property tax abatement. The actual numbers, the employee numbers under the actual column, I think they have a typo because 113 plus 39 does not equal 169.
Well, Mr. President,
Yeah, Councilperson Crossan.
I thought so too. Also, if you look at at the first one that we dealt with tonight, it had 121 at that same spot, so I'm not sure if that was just a mistake or.
If you do add up 113 and 39, that's still more than they originally
Right.
estimated.
And not to muddy the waters further, but if you look at the next one, which is also the same company, again, passed the same night as the one that we're considering right now. This time they were consistent across the grid with the current number of employees and the actual number of employees. So they did one way and and the second one the other way. So that's part of the source of my confusion here. I suspect that one way or the other is correct and the other way isn't, and I just don't know which is which. But again, keeping our eyes on the prize, the big picture is, did they hire more people? Are they paying more? And they did, and they are. So I don't see a reason to bog us down. I'm just trying to point out that, like in years past, we're seeing different companies fill these out in different ways. And in this case, we've got the same company filling, and the same person filling them out in different ways. With that noted, I'll move that we find resolution number 7, 2021 in substantial compliance.
Second.
It has been moved by Councilperson Nation, seconded by Councilperson Crossan, that we find RS 7, 2021 CF1 in substantial compliance. Those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed? It is in compliance. Next item, please.
The same company, Resolution 8, 2021, and I forgot to point out, they're showing that the project, when they filed this, was still pending, and meaning it was not completed. So they may get additional employees.
It's the first time I've noticed that. Thank you. That's helpful, I think.
Or confusing.
Are we on resolution 7?
8.
8?
And you should also have most of these will have copies of the original SB1.
Yep.
Hopefully the second page or third page.
Council President,
Councilperson Garrison.
seeing the number of employees are up and salaries are also up for Batista in this resolution, I move to approve to vote in substantial compliance resolution 8, 2021.
Second.
It has been moved by Councilperson Garrison, seconded by Councilperson Boland, that we find RS 8, 2021 CF1 in substantial compliance. Those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed? It is in compliance. Next item, please.
Fox Hotel Partners, Resolution 12, 2015. For those that were on the council back in 2015, this abatement was originally attached to Sycamore Hotel Partners. That abatement has been completed. And when it says 54C attached, they were talking about both hotels combined would have those employees.
So is this abatement still active, Michelle?
I believe Councilperson Loudermilk may know, but I would say, 2 more years? Not that they're getting any benefit, but...
Actually, this one, because it's the other one, is only in year 4.
So this one, it looks like they estimated completion in 17, so it would have went on in 18. So several years.
In a couple years, it'll be kind of what Councilperson Nation said, but.
Council President,
Councilperson Garrison.
it appears that current number of employees, I'm a little confused on the attached, but it looks like they're at least the same or have increased. Number of additional employees aren't as much as they suspected, but all the revenue, the salaries are above the estimate. So based on that, I would move that we vote in substantial compliance for Resolution 12, 2015.
Second.
It has been moved by Councilperson Garrison, seconded by Councilperson Loudermilk, that we find RS 12, 2015 CF1 in substantial compliance. Those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed? It is in compliance. Next item, please.
Garland Foundry, Resolution 2, 2015. As a reminder for those who were on the council, this is the reason you amended the council rules so they could not file a combined personal and real abatement. So this is one resolution for both a real and for a personal. And I have that it began 2015, pay 2016. The numbers are supposedly the same as what they originally estimated. Because they originally estimated they had 128 and they would hire 3 additional.
Council President,
Councilperson Garrison.
with both columns going up, number of employees and salaries, though slightly, I would move to vote in substantial compliance for Resolution 12, 2015.
Second.
It has been moved by Councilperson Garrison, seconded by Councilperson Crossan, that we find RS 2 2015 CF1 in substantial compliance. Those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? It is in compliance. Next item, please.
This is Highland Retina. Now, they received a personal and a real when it was originally granted in 2020. They changed the name for the real to Tierra Alta, so it will be further down on the list. This is Highland Retina, Resolution 8, 2020. They were supposed to have 27 total employees. I spoke to them on the phone, and they said that they were still installing, I believe, some equipment and hiring employees, and that's why they had not met the total yet.
I see the form that's further down. It says that the estimated start date for the project was in 2020. The estimated actual completion date, 12/31/21. Now that's for the real property. And between the end of 21, it's all of 22, and now we're almost halfway into 23. So the assertion is that in the last 18 months, although the project's been finished, they're still working on hiring people and installing equipment.
That's one of the comments they made to me when I called them, because there was a problem with their forms. They had actually submitted a blank form, and I had to request that they complete the form and return it.
Okay.
And I said, well, you may want to just confirm your numbers.
Well, looking at the two side by side, it looks like they're using the same numbers across both forms. I'll just note that.
And I can't speak for them, but they also mentioned they were still working on recruiting additional medical personnel.
Mr. President,
Councilperson Garrison.
I know a little bit about this organization. I've been there as a patient and was actually very impressed with the clinicians and the speed of treatment. A very busy practice. And the numbers are up for employees and salaries, so I think it's fair to go ahead and vote in substantial compliance for Highland Retina Resolution 8, 2020.
Second.
Has been moved by Councilperson Garrison, seconded by Councilperson Nation, that we find RS 8 2020 CF1 in substantial compliance. Those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed? It is in compliance. Next item, please.
The next one is Historic Walnut Square. This was originally passed as 200 South 6. You will see that they showed the project to be completed November of 2021. And
2022.
oh, they filed 2 of these. One moment. Okay, so you have the one with the title Historic Walnut Square, correct?
Yes.
Okay. They turned around and filed one also for 200 South 6.
We've got them both, right?
Yeah,
Anyway.
yeah. I think anyway, they said they would have 1 employee, they have 1 employee.
Mr. President,
Yes, Councilperson Nation.
this project's in my district, and I think I watched it the whole time that they were building on it and wondering when they were actually going to open. And I think that actual completion date of November 14th, 2022 is probably pretty right. People have been moving into that building for the last 6 months. To me, they seem to be in substantial compliance, so I'll make that motion. I move that we find Historic Walnut Square Resolution 3, 2020 in substantial compliance.
Second.
It has been moved by Councilperson Nation, seconded by Councilperson Boland, that we find RS 3 2020 CF1 in substantial compliance. Those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed? It is in compliance. Next item, please.
Hydrite Chemical has 2. Resolution 2, 2022, and Resolution 3, 2022. Resolution 2, 2022 is their real property. The other one is their personal. I did speak with them and their attorney. There was an issue with their paperwork, and the project is not complete yet. But their numbers are definitely doing very well. They have 57, and their original estimate when the project was completed is they would have 59.
Mr. President?
Councilperson Nation.
I drive by this facility every Monday and every Wednesday evening to take my son to karate class. And I'm glad to be reminded that this is for the construction of a fertilizer manufacturing facility with new technology, because we're always wondering what are they doing all that digging for, and now I'll be able to tell my son why. I wish Amy were here to tell us about what a great project this is in her district, but she's not, so I'll move that we find Resolution 2, 2022 in substantial compliance.
Second.
It has been moved by Councilperson Nation, seconded by Councilperson Garrison, that we find RS 2 2022 CF1 in substantial compliance. Those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed? It is in compliance. Next item, please.
Same company. This is Resolution 3 of 2022. And they have the same numbers as, and again, the project's not completed.
Mr. President?
Councilperson Nation. Next item.
Miller Parrott Lofts LP. This is from 2017. Project completion date that they're showing was November of 2020. While they may not have put the numbers in the correct line, they are showing the correct number of employees. If I remember correctly, and I would have to pull the documents, they had a typo on their original SB1. And that's why the salary listed is so low.
Are you saying they're paying more than $39,000 per
For 2
employee?
employees, yes.
Oh, I see, yeah, on the original SB1. But then in the paperwork that they filed, they have 2 times the 39,000. Well, not quite.
Almost.
Minus 10,000. Yeah. Mr. President,
Councilperson Nation.
it looks to me like Miller Parrott Lofts has kept up their end of the deal on this. I therefore move that we find Resolution 17, 2017 in substantial compliance.
Second.
It has been moved by Councilperson Nation, seconded by Councilperson Crossen, that we find RS 17, 2017 CF1 in substantial compliance. Those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? It is in compliance. Next item.
Is NMP Properties. I'm correcting the typo on the agenda. It's Resolution 21, 2014. There was a lot of copying and pasting going on. You may have 2 copies in front of you, but the one that they hand wrote corrected copy at the top is what you should look at. And they have significantly higher number of employees than originally estimated.
Mr. President,
Councilperson Garrison.
seeing the incredible increase of employees and salaries, I move to vote NMP Resolution 17, 2017 in substantial compliance.
21.
What,
It was a typo. It's RS 21.
okay, what Michelle said.
Second.
It has been moved by Councilperson Garrison, seconded by Councilperson Crossen, that we find RS 21, 2017 CF1. I'm sorry? 2014. Okay. RS 21. RS 21, 2014 CF1 in substantial compliance. Those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? It is in compliance. Next item, please.
The next one is Revolution Materials. Just to let you know, this is was previously known as Jadcorp. On their form, they have Resolution 2035, 2017, and we need to fix that typo on the agenda. We have 25. Okay, Resolution 35, 2017 is for a personal property abatement. And they are 2 less employees than originally estimated.
Mr. President,
Yes, Councilperson Garrison.
I am showing a little bit less, a little bit fewer employees, but the salaries have gone up. So I'm not sure how that's happened, but paying them more, I suppose. So I will move, and I'm not sure, Michelle, what you just said for the resolution number. Is it different than mine?
35 of 2017.
Resolution 3517, 2017. I move that we vote that in substantial compliance.
Second.
It has been moved by Councilperson Garrison, seconded by Councilperson Loudermilk, that we find RS 35, 2017 CF1 in substantial compliance. Those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? It is in compliance. Next item.
Resolution 5, 2015 Same thing, this was previously known as JADCOR. This is a personal property abatement. Completion date for the project was November of 2015. My records show that it was applied 2016, paid 2017, and they have 9 less employees than originally estimated.
Mr. President,
Yes, Councilperson Garrison.
in the interest of speeding this up, Michelle, did you say you see fewer number of employees? 9 less?
No, I'm seeing that.
So if you look at their original estimate column on section 3, it says 241 and they were gonna hire 4 more. So that makes 245. Maybe I did my math wrong. They have 236.
257.
I have 257.
It says 257 on mine.
Yeah, that's what I've seen too.
Mm-hmm. The previous one is 236, this one is 257.
Okay, I guess I'll restate. I'm looking at Resolution 5, 2015. They estimated they were going to have a total of 245 employees. And they only have...
And she's looking at the original SB1 on page 2.
Oh, okay.
Not on the cover page, on the second page.
Oh, I apologize.
Still see 250.
It's another company that filed 2 versions.
Okay, so from what I'm seeing, it looks like employees are up and salaries are up.
Yes.
Yes.
So based on that, I will move to vote in substantial compliance for Resolution 5, 2015.
Second.
It has been moved by Councilperson Garrison, second by Councilperson Crossan, that we find our S5 2015 CF1 in substantial compliance. Those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed? It is in compliance. Next item, please.
Tierra Alta, which was filed originally as Highland Retina, Resolution 9, 2020. You previously took action on the personal property version. This is the real property version.
No, this is the... I think it's vice versa, isn't it? This is the personal property. Or maybe I just got them in. Maybe they were just Oh, nope, they were just in my pile separately. Sorry. Never mind.
Okay.
Mr. President,
Yes, Councilperson Nation.
this one's confusing too for, well, not the numbers, but the names. It says Highland Retina on the first page, but if you turn it over, the statement up that says Tierra Alta on the back of that first page.
Would you like the whole story?
Sure.
Sure. So they originally filed Resolution 8 and Resolution 9. Resolution 9, which is this one, the CF1 form was blank. So I contacted the company, said, you know, you made a mistake. So then they sent me a new SB1 form. So then I contacted the company again, because if you look, there should be an SB1 form that they dated this year. So they keep changing the names. So when I talk to them, they're calling it Tierra Alta. But they put, on the final version that they filed of the CF1, they put Highland Retina.
I don't want to project too much into this, but probably one company is an LLC that holds the property, and then the other company is the actual business that sits on the property. Mr. President,
Yes, Councilperson Nation.
I move that we find Resolution 9, 2020 in substantial compliance.
Second.
It has been moved by Councilperson Nation, seconded by Councilperson Garrison, that we find RS 9 2020 CF1 in substantial compliance. Those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? It is in compliance. Next item.
Warren Village Resolution 13, 2012. And there will also be Resolution 14, 2016. I should not have favorites, but I always like when this company files because they have everything filled out. So they have 7 employees and they originally estimated 4. And for I think everybody was on the council, this is where they were doing the housing projects.
Right.
Mr. President, can I?
Yes,
make a-
Councilperson Loudermilk.
I'll just make a comment on your Resolution 13, 2012. This is the big building, the original one. Just so everybody knows, the next one would be the, all those individual homes. And Councilperson Nation, this will be hitting year 9.
So they're probably not actually getting any benefit from this, but they're continuing. And this is to confuse things even further, this is Jeff Stewart from our housing authority, right? So we've got our local housing authority spending time to do paperwork that doesn't get them any benefit, so that our clerk and our county employees can do paperwork and process all that doesn't give them any benefit. But all that said, it's a good project and I'm glad that it's working. Repurposing Warren School was a great move and they have kept up their end of the deal. So in light of all that, I move that we find Warren Village Resolution number 13, 2012 in substantial compliance.
Second.
Yeah, it's been moved by Councilperson Nation, seconded by Councilperson Boland, that we find RS 13, 2012, CF1 in substantial compliance. Those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? It is in compliance. Next item.
Warren Village Resolution 14, 2016, same situation. And they originally estimated they were going to have 1 employee and they are showing 3.
Mr. President?
Councilperson Nation.
I'd like to note the helpful letters from Jeff Stewart on both this one and the previous one. Regardless, both of them show that they've done what said they would do. In light of that, I move that we find Resolution 14, 2016 in substantial compliance.
Second.
Yeah, it's been moved by Councilperson Nation, seconded by Councilperson Garrison, that we find RS 14, 2016, CF1 in substantial compliance. Those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? It is in compliance. Next item.
I'm sorry, but you did not do the drum roll. This is the last item.
Last item.
Well Tower, which I believe is the one at 8th Avenue and 3rd Street. This is Resolution 22, 2012, and Cheryl, they're showing a completion date of 2015.
This will be year 9.
And they are definitely showing additional employees than they originally estimated, because they originally estimated up to 100 employees.
Mr. President,
Councilperson
in
Garrison.
light of the additional employees and salaries, I move that we vote on Resolution 22, 2012 as in substantial compliance.
Second.
It has been moved by Councilperson Garrison and seconded by Councilperson Nation that we find RS 22, 2012, CF1 in substantial compliance. Whew. Those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? It is in compliance.
President, you need to make an announcement.
Oh, we will, due to the fact that we have no items for the agenda on next week, we will not be meeting next week. Our next meeting will be July, what's the first Thursday in July?
13th is the second meeting in July. Oh,
But the first one, oh.
July 6th.
Be the 6th.
Are you holding? I thought you were having the discussion with the council what they were doing on the July 6th meeting.
Well, let's talk about that, yeah. So the first Thursday is the 6th.
Yes.
So are we going to meet on the 6th? It is 2 days after the 4th. Of course, that is why we're having this conversation. I believe we have heard a couple of council members say they would not be in town on that date.
If I may?
Yes, please.
We've tabled one thing until the 13th. Is there other business in the pipeline that we're aware of at this point?
I've been told that there may be either a rezoning or a, something like a vacating coming, and they've already requested it be on the 13th.
I don't know if you need a motion, but it sounds to me like we should just that we should just plan to meet on the 13th and take care of the July business at that date.
Does everybody agree with that? Okay, then we will not be meeting on the first Thursday in July either. We will be meeting on the 13th in July, where we will take care of all of our July business.
Okay, with that said, I move to adjourn.
Second.
It's been moved by Councilperson Azar, seconded by Councilperson Nation, that we adjourn the meeting. Those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Meeting is adjourned.